Speaking of older gentlemen.
Oh, shit. We have some of this interrogation?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I do want to do it.
Yeah.
But I want to spend some time with it. You know what I mean?
What are we doing now?
I wanted to talk about Liam Neeson, too.
Yeah, we can do Liam Neeson.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
By the way, the
so
outrage over this is nonsense.
The Liam Neeson thing?
Oh, yeah.
Did you hear it?
It's great.
What?
He's being very honest about a feeling he had one time many years ago.
There was action.
What? I mean, walking around like that?
Yeah.
So what? He was angry. He grew up in this fucking violent place. Are you kidding me? If it was reversed, anybody who went through that and had that feeling, he didn't do anything. He's like, I'm ashamed of that. That was how I felt.
Well, let's listen to the interview first.
Yeah.
Okay, let's listen. And
when was this from?
It just happened. This interview is actually, and that's who, I mean, maybe Liam Neeson doesn't need to promote his movies anymore, because now every time I see a trailer for this movie, I'm like, oh, that's the Liam Neeson wants to beat up black people movie. It really doesn't come across well, in my opinion.
Oh,
I disagree with you, Jim. Let's listen to Liam Neeson. He was talking, I believe, to The Independent. And The Independent, they enjoyed this quote so much that it wasn't enough that they put out the written article. They wanted to prove, and really when you see the quote, you're like, what the fuck? So they decided to put the audio of the interview out, just so people could hear it. Here you go.
I'll tell you a story. This is true. I'm not going to use any names, but I was away.
He really sounds like Taken.
I'll be honest, he's an awesome talker.
Yeah.
I like Liam Neeson a lot.
I'm going to tell you a story. Okay, all right, whatever you say, sir. Whatever you say.
I came back and she told me she had been raped, but she handled the situation of the rape in the most extraordinary way. But my immediate reaction was, I asked, did she know who it was? No. What color were they? She said it was a black person. I went up and down areas with a cosh, hoping I'd be approached by somebody. I'm ashamed to say that. And I did it for maybe a week, hoping some black bastard would come out of a pub and have a go at me about something, you know, so that I could kill him. And it took me a week, maybe a week and a half to kind of go for that. And she said to me, where are you going? I said, I'm just going out for a walk, you know. She said, what's wrong? No, nothing's wrong, fine. And it was horrible when I think back, but I did that. And I've never admitted that to, and I'm saying it to a journalist. God forbid.
Holy shit.
It's a dumb thing to do.
It's awful.
Yeah, it's a very stupid thing to admit.
I'm guessing it's because of the relationship he seems to have, it's either a sister or a girlfriend or a wife.
It's got to be somebody very close, obviously.
Who was raped.
Right.
And he has this visceral reaction just to want to go out and do something. It's like one of those things, I don't know how you handle that.
But how do you go that quickly to what color is he? I can't imagine.
Because maybe that wasn't the first question he asked in reality. He might have said, who is he? What's he look like? You know, who knows what he actually said. But he might have said, what's he look like? And she might have said, he's a black guy. And he was just irrationally angry, hoping some. Whatever, it happens. You're reacting to trauma. He didn't do anything. He's just admitting a bad feeling he had. He didn't actually attack anybody.
I have never.
But he wanted to.
He wanted to.
But he was out
he had
there
a stick
waiting for it.
But he didn't.
But his reaction was to murder someone of the same race.
No, he wanted the guy to start with him,
so he could kill somebody of the same race.
He could murder them.
Literally, the only thing they had.
Angry.
He wasn't going like, I looked through the streets trying to find rapists so that I could kill a rapist. He said, I looked through the streets trying to find a black guy to start a fight with me so that I could kill him.
He was just angry, and he didn't do it.
There's levels
a reaction
to this. Nobody's
to
trying to get him
for a week and a half.
Nobody's trying to bust him for assault because he didn't assault anybody. But the idea that we could say, even in that scenario, it's fucked up to just attribute the race of the person. Like there's something wrong with that.
Look, if a guy is if a guy is arrested, black guy's arrested or beaten up by the cops. And he has the thing for cops, this angry reaction for a week. I walked around hoping a fucking cop would come out. You'd be like, yeah, I get it. You didn't hit any cops. You didn't hit any cops, did you? No, but I was just
angry.
That's
different. I mean, that's cops and that's authority of cops, and that's not.
The point is, we act like we don't understand human emotion. We act like, of course, it wasn't right what he did, but we act like we don't get it. Like, how could you do? He's reacting to somebody he loves being raped. It's not rational. He's not thinking rationally. He's not thinking, oh no, this isn't nice. He's just thinking about vengeance for somebody who was raped.
You don't think that people can sit there and say, in your most sort of vulnerable moment or whatever, in your rawest moment, the fact that you went right to race might be an issue?
No, not at all. It doesn't matter. Who cares what you go to? You're trying to grapple with it. I'm to be honest with you, I don't know. He's retelling this story. You don't know if he went right to race or if he's retelling it like that. Did he actually say what color are you, or what do he look like? Well, he's a black guy. Maybe that's, who knows?
He said what color, and I mean, I'm going by his own.
Yeah, he's relaying
words.
it, but who cares?
And I would say that if you go out hunting for vengeance, and the only thing you're looking for is like, I got to find somebody who's the same ethnicity, there's the underlying issues there.
I don't agree. I don't think there has to be to react that way. I don't think there has to be to react that way.
I've seen, obviously nothing.
I don't know what it's like to have a loved one raped. This is somebody obviously you live with, or you're married with, and they're assaulted. I'll put it to you this way.
Mm-hmm.
People have a strong. I knew somebody in my life peripherally. It was a guy I knew was married.
Mm-hmm.
His wife was raped by a janitor or a guy who worked in her building, or superintendent. And the girl's father, who was the father-in-law of this person I know, they were not, and said to him, well, do you want us to kill him? The girl's father asked the husband, do you want this man killed? And he said, no. But meaning there's a visceral reaction to things.
But it's totally different.
No, it's not. The point I'm making is that there's a visceral reaction sometimes to somebody being injured, and you want to do something very extreme. And if he would have went out and done it, I would have said he's wrong. But he didn't. He just had this thing where he walked around angry, and who knows what he would have done. He was just walking around fucking angry and hateful and hoping to find somebody to come out and start some shit with him so he could get revenge for this thing. It's not a rational thought.
No, of course not. And you're not sitting there going like, it's either right or it's wrong. It's A or it's B. If you hit somebody, that's bad. If you don't hit somebody, that's fine. But you can still have a conversation about the fact that if this guy that you just said, he goes like, do you want me to kill him for you? That's a thought that most people would probably have.
Yes.
That's a relatable thought.
Yes.
If the guy had said like, do you want me to kill him for you? And she goes, no. And he goes, okay, well, he was Hispanic? Okay, should I just go find a Hispanic guy to kill?
They knew the perpetrator. It's different. They knew who the guy was. So there was a target. Like, they knew this guy who worked in the building who had done it. If he had gone out and said, I hit a black guy with a pipe, this would be a totally different discussion.
Well, of course, he'd be in jail if he did that.
But he didn't. He grew up in this fucking horrible area, this violence in Ireland, wherever it was, the Troubles. It's just, he was being honest about this angry fucking thing he did that was not rational, that he ultimately did not act on. So I have no problem with that at all.
Yeah, but his thinking is, it's horrible that I wanted to act violently, not, he doesn't sit there and go like, why would I have attributed race to that?
Because everybody knows why he would have. It's
Nobody knows. I mean, I don't know why he would.
Everybody know. If she was raped by a fucking Asian guy, it's the first thing we look at is the obvious. If it's a man, first of all, and then the obvious. You look for the obvious. The thing to say, if a fat guy steps on your foot, the first thing he goes, you fat fuck. You don't go, hey, that person stepped on my foot. That would hurt if he was skinny. It's an irrational response to something terrible. It's an irrational
I don't
response.
think so. I can't sit there and tell you that I'd be like, oh, we got to find out what his ethnicity was, because that's what I'm going to attribute to that. I
don't think he's attributing his ethnicity. He said, well, he was basically asking, what's he look like? Who was he? Do you know who he was? Mm-hmm. No. What do you have to go on? He's a black guy. Okay, that's it. Now he's from whatever his Irish.
But he also he wasn't going like, oh, I was hoping if I could find a black guy to start trouble with, or if a black guy started trouble with me, he'd be the guy who did it. He was just like, no, I wanted to take my anger out on a black guy that started trouble with me.
But he was angry. It's what do you think wars are fought over? We fight wars over shit like this. What do you think that every soldier looks at an Iraqi soldier or whoever it was and goes, well, gee, no, he's Iraqi, get him. It's just, it's this irrational thing when you're angry. That's what countries fight over.
Yeah, but you go for Iraqi soldiers. There's a whole thing like you don't kill civilians. Soldiers don't go into villages. They're not supposed to go into villages and kill civilians.
No, but the point is,
because
you're not
they're
looking,
Iraqi.
But he's a soldier. You're still looking at the fact that he's Iraqi first. You're not looking at the fact that he's a fellow soldier.
No, of course.
So we all understand how that happens. Again, if he had gone out and bludgeoned somebody, that's different.
I mean, we wouldn't even be having this conversation.
But he didn't. He's being honest about these ugly thoughts he had when somebody he loved was raped.
Yeah.
And we're all like, oh, how could he think that? Stop. We all understand how he could think that. And then you come back and you go, well, all right, wait, that was crazy. That was not the right way to go about it. But to admit that for people being mad at him for admitting this, and it's like, come on.
Well, I'm not mad at him.
No,
I don't.
But he is getting shit for it.
Of course he's getting shit for it.
And, again, we all understand if somebody said, hey, my fucking, I don't know what his affiliation religiously in Ireland, but let's just say he's a Catholic. He might be the opposite. And he found out, and she goes, I don't know, but the guy was a Protestant. He would have walked up and down that street hoping a Protestant came out of a bar and started shit with him. It's just, you want revenge on somebody and you don't know who it is, so you want somebody who reminds you of that person.
I totally relate to I don't have a problem with him wanting violence, the anger, all of it. Totally get it, and I'm like, yeah, that's what would happen. But the out of nowhere just dragging in the race thing doesn't hold water for it. It doesn't make sense to me.
Okay. Well, if she said so, if she said a guy with a beard did it. Yeah,
I wouldn't be mad at guys with beards. I'd be mad.
No, but you might be if you were him and your girlfriend or wife was raped. You might walk up and down that street and go, I just want something to happen. Again, you're not thinking logically. And I don't think that I disagree that if that happened, that you wouldn't see race because it's an identifying factor. Whatever the identifying factors are, and that's just the most obvious one because you can see that the easiest.
Let's go to, we can go to anybody. Andrew in Boston. What's up, bud?
Hey, guys.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, man.
Sam, have you ever played Guess Who?
Sure.
Yeah, same thing. It's not like race isn't a connotation. It's exactly what Jim's saying. It's just, it's an identifier. It's like, do they have brown hair or blonde hair or, black hair? So it's like I don't understand like what's the big to do that you're like that you're reaching for is here.
Well, it's not a big to do. Like we're having a conversation based on a news story, but the big thing would be that when you're looking for a specific person, when you're playing Guess Who, you've got an option of whatever it is, 30 people, and you're breaking them down based on physical attributes, not just saying everybody who's this is who I'm mad at right now.
But it's just not. But that's an easy thing to say when we're not in the middle of when you're reacting to somebody you love being, I'm sure, raped or assaulted.
Sure, and I'm obviously
all that great social shit goes out the window.
But this isn't. You don't have to be a social justice warrior to not be mad at all black people.
No, you don't.
You know what I mean? That's not being politically correct.
No, I know that. But to act like somebody being angry and just reacting irrationally to somebody being assaulted, we don't understand how they could look at the most obvious factor, just the most identifiable factor, and be mad. Let's go to Jason in San Antonio.
Hey, guys.
Hey, man.
I have to agree with Jimmy here. I live in San Antonio, and you got all kinds of people. You got black, white, brown. I'm Hispanic. If somebody would have said that to me, I'd be like, okay, what color was this guy? Was he a fucking Mexican guy? Was he a black guy? I don't want to beat up the wrong guy. So I know, and I don't like all these things about all these posts about Liam Neeson being racist just because he wanted to specify what race this guy was. Again, I think he was trying to narrow it down.
It's the only
he wasn't
thing
trying to narrow it down because he wasn't.
It's the only thing
he wasn't trying
do.
to find the guy.
It's not rational.
True.
You're just angry that somebody
was
has been raped, and you want something to grab onto.
No, I got it. But
what do you think? What do you think they fight for in Ireland? This one, the Catholics and the Protestants. What do you think? They're looking at the individual merits? No, it's just you're one of them. Get them. It's not rational. It's not rational. So when you're reacting not rationally, and again, the big thing here. He's admitting thoughts that he had. And fucking these little dumb motherfuckers are jumping on him for admitting ugly thoughts. Yeah, he walked around. Just who knows what he would have done. He could have found a black guy if he wanted one. He's just telling you that he was hoping, and he said it. By the way, when he said black bastards, he used air quotes. They said that in a quote. Like he was being...
attributing that to his thought then.
Yes, not now, but saying, I was thinking, I want some black bastard to come out. And he's
and he even said that it was a terrible thing that he said. Like,
yeah.
He even admits it was wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sitting here going like, don't see this guy's movie. This guy's a fucking asshole. I'm sitting here like, this is a head scratcher for me. He he doesn't get a pass. I'm not sitting here going like, yeah, that's how I would feel too, because that's
but
not.
To me, this
You
kind
don't
of
know that
falls in
until it
line with the
happens.
whole Kevin Hart thing. Like Kevin Hart said some bad shit, but now he's grown out of that. So I think it's the same thing here.
Yeah, but he's
He may
saying it
have thought
today,
that at
so
one
we're talking
point.
about it today.
But you don't know how.
Well, no,
none of us
but
know
he's
how.
saying that from a story from in the past.
Yeah, and none of us know how he would react until that happens. I mean, you're reacting to somebody having been violated and assaulted, and you want revenge. I think that's a fair. And if she would have known who the guy was, but he just wanted something to grab onto, and he didn't do it. He just walked around.
No, I get
angry.
it. So I don't think he should go to jail for assaulting anybody.
I don't think people should judge his thought process because, again, it was if he had said the game got lost because the fucking black bastard goalkeeper didn't stop the ball from. Yeah,
Well,
then you can judge him.
You can judge somebody's thought process when they make their thought process public.
You can, but you shouldn't. Then
If they're like, hey, I'm doing this interview to promote my movie. Here's one of my thought processes. And you're famous. I don't know what type of, why you think people aren't going to judge your thought process.
Well, maybe you hope that people would be honest enough about themselves. Like, it's the problem. We say we all want honesty, and then a guy gives honesty, and then we're like, oh, he's terrible, when he didn't actually do anything.
Yeah. But
And we act like we don't understand that thought process. People act like we wouldn't understand reacting in an ugly mental way to somebody being assaulted. Of course we do.
But I think people can also react however they want. Like, I don't think people should protest this movie and go like he's a villain now. But if people are like, whoa, like I didn't see that coming, because that's how I
But
reacted
people-
to it.
I mean,
and I'm not being dishonest.
I don't think you're being dishonest.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just don't think that maybe you'd feel differently if you were in that position and you had nothing else about the perpetrators to go on but that. Maybe you would have a week of irrational anger. And somebody's pointing out, go to know Jason. He's kind of right.
And by the way, I'm sure, have irrational anger. I just don't think it would be directed that way. But
maybe not. I
How
don't
do you
know.
know, right?
I don't
How
know
do you
what he
know?
was like before that.
You want Jason in
Yes.
this? Yeah. Okay. What's up, Jason?
Hey guys, what's going on? Good morning there.
Morning, buddy.
Hey, I was just wondering, did anybody draw the parallel how after the horrific attacks in 9/11, we just had this, we didn't have an outlet for our hostility, so we kind of defied logic and we said, just give me somebody Middle Eastern, weapons of mass destruction, just so we had some justification. So isn't that kind of what this is, where it's like we don't have the outlet, so we just need the frustration.
It's similar. It's similar. And that was not the greatest thing in the world. Historically, it turned out not to be the greatest thing in the world to react that way. But yeah, I'm not sitting here. I mean, we were all reacting that way. But also the attackers did it in the name of Muslim people, right? So there was this thing that was now added to the attack.
But you still understand that you looked at Muslims differently after that happened.
Thank you, bud.
Irrationally, you looked at Muslims differently. And maybe that went away. But when that happened, we all knew it was bin Laden, even before Muhammad Atta's name and all these other guys. We all knew it was bin Laden, and we looked at Muslims differently.
But there was also this thing of not being exposed to Muslims, right? Like the Muslim religion wasn't something that we were exposed to on a day-to-day.
I mean, we were aware enough of it. I mean,
we didn't know what Muslims were all about.
Of course we did.
Who did?
Americans?
Yeah.
I knew bin Laden was behind it before his name came out because he bombed, and there was because he was the one who everybody knew was the head of Al Qaeda. That was not a big stretch.
But when a thing comes out that says we're doing this in the name of Muslim people, and we're all not educated to anything besides this is what our definition of Muslim people is in the moment, I can see the correlation getting made a lot more quickly than Liam's.
I don't think that was a lack of education. I think it was just anger. We were just angry. We knew about them because there's been so many problems with Israel and the Middle East. We're aware of what Muslims are and what the difference. I mean, come on, the coal, the embassy, Kenya, Tanzania, all these things that we've had issues with Islam. We Americans were very aware of that, and we knew that what was kind of going on, and we had an irrational anger. It wasn't fair to be mad at Muslims who had nothing to do with it.
And if somebody was like, yeah, I was walking around looking for a Muslim to beat up, hoping that I could beat up a Muslim, I'd be like, yeah, I get it. It's fucked up, though. But
yes, but you would understand it. You would go, yeah, but I'm glad you didn't do that, and I'm glad that's that
but
irrational.
It's fucked up.
It's irrational, but every person has that in them, that irrational thing. It's what you do with it that counts. And the fact that he didn't act on it is really why we're having this conversation.
Sure.
He didn't act on it. He's just admitting ugly thoughts. And people, so you do, maybe you wouldn't, but you do understand it because.
Well, I'm just saying it's fucked up, right? I'm not siding with the sort of, we need to have outrage. It's just like, yeah, this is a fucked up thing this guy said. Let's talk about it.
But we've all done it. And that was a good example that guy gave. I didn't actually think of that. That caller was right. We all looked at Muslims differently. after 9/11, and then eventually it went, that changed.
Let's go to John in Arizona. What's up, John?
Sam, you're full of shit.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, my daughter was murdered in Brooklyn in 2016, and I would have murdered every black person I could have seen at the moment. At the moment, I would have killed every single one of them. Anyone I could have gotten my hand on. As soon as I heard it.
And I'm just asking because obviously that's an experience that none of us have had to go through because that's horrible. But was your anger isolated to just black people, or did you go through this thing where you just wanted to murder everybody?
No, just black people. It was there's video. It was a black person. They never caught him.
Mm-hmm.
It was a black person that killed her, and she spent 5 days as a Jane Doe. But for that window of time, I'd have fucking smoked them all as many as I possibly could have.
Look, man,
because they didn't know who did it. Because you didn't
no.
Right. You didn't have a face, so you went to the next thing, which was the most identifiable feature.
Exactly. The one identifying feature that was a guarantee. That's one thing that police knew for sure was that it was a black man. So, yeah, in the moment, you want to kill who hurt your loved one.
And because everyone's a suspect. Everyone's a suspect. It's almost like when Mark Norman said he got robbed. Someone took his head. Everyone you look at, did that guy do it? That guy do it?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, is that guy, is that fucking janitor in on it?
It's irrational anger.
You start just all of a sudden becoming paranoid.
His girlfriend.
Yeah, his girlfriend did that one.
Right,
Mark
right.
Norman. Yeah. Thank you, John. And yeah, I mean, I would never judge John on what his thought process was in that period of time either, because like that's as traumatic as anything could be.
Of course.
And based on what Liam went through, obviously it was somebody close to him.
Yes.
That's why I'm not sitting here being like, this guy's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Right? It's more of me being like, whoa, that came out of nowhere. There's a ton of people.
I would have been very surprised if the guy was white and he still wanted to go out and fight a black guy. I go, all right, that came out of nowhere. Like he said he's Irish, and I said I'm going to go find a black bastard. That's not proper.
Liam, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
What are you going for?
Yes, black bastard. It's also the color of my hair dye.
I use soy sauce. I've got a certain set of dyes. Looks like Dennis Falcone in that movie, doesn't he?
It's really awful.
Paul in Pennsylvania. What's up, Paul?
Yeah, good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Morning, buddy.
Hey.
Just called, telling your call screener that, to me, it doesn't really matter what color you are. If it's rape, like what happened to my sister, then I don't give a crap what color you are. And
Right.
once she pointed him out, between me being Irish, which is obviously bad temper, 6'5", 250 pounds, and with extensive military training, that dude had no chance.
But you knew who he was. So you
Pushed him up against the dumpster. Yeah, she pointed him out.
Okay, yeah.
And I made sure he never forgot it.
And by the way, I respect that move. Like, if you had said, like, I killed him with my bare hands, I'd go, like, yeah, I have no ill will towards you, and I 100% understand what you did. And you probably did the right thing. Because I can't imagine, especially when you know that you can handle a guy like that. That guy deserved everything that you gave him.
Plus, I just don't understand the hullabaloo over what Liam said. He was just talking. He's just saying words. It wasn't like he was like, well, I really did this and I should be in jail. No, he said, this is what I wanted to do, but I didn't. He had self-control. That seems like to me that he managed to, not commit, something that would have been ruined his life, his family, and would not have brought that would not have avenged his daughter or whoever happened to be.
Right.
Well, what happened? That wouldn't have brought him back.
You wish that, because when he says something
Thanks,
like this, to me, the most important thing is like, wow, he was really honest about these ugly thoughts. He really told the truth about something that most of us can relate to but don't want to say, because that's an ugly admission.
Yeah.
I looked at black people and I wanted to fight. I wanted the black guy so I could kill him because a black guy had raped whoever this person is.
And I believe the reason he brought it up is because the premise of his movie is a guy whose son gets killed and he's out for revenge. Like we should be able to have a little bit more of a nuanced conversation about the ugly thoughts that we don't talk about.
Right.
And Liam Neeson, that's all he's doing here.
That's all he's doing.
I agree with you 100% on that. And, and I do wish that it wasn't just like either no, this is fine. This is how everybody thinks, or he's a fucking racist asshole who shouldn't have a career. Like, let's actually...
Yeah, I don't think he's a racist at all. I mean, I
have a nuanced conversation about it. You know what I mean?
Cigars and scotch.
Let's go to cigars and scotch. What's up, dude?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, buddy.
This is my thought. If you're looking for a black guy in Ireland randomly, what are the odds he gets the wrong guy?
Yeah, I think there's 4 black guys in Ireland.
You know what? That's a good point that nobody's brought to the table. Thank you, cigars and scotch. Pi in North Carolina. What's up, Pi?
What's up, fellas? What's going on today?
How you doing, man?
Hey, the thing that Sam doesn't seem to understand is anger is an emotion just like any other emotion. The problem is nobody sits there and says that, hey, stop laughing or control that laughter, unless you're in school, of course. But anger is emotional like just any other emotion, and sometimes some people just can't control that as well. But again, it's an emotion. I mean, you don't get, because you probably don't have it. Sam, I don't know.
That's true. I don't get angry. I don't have emotions.
You don't have emotions at all.
Or genitals.
Or genitals. Well, the emotions are attached to the genitals.
They are.
And I was castrated at birth, so I actually don't have to deal with all those pesky things that everybody else does. It's quite an advantage.
Yes, it is.
Let's go to Kevin in Louisiana. What's up, Kevin?
Is it possible that I'm kind of remarking on cigars and scotch statement that he couldn't find a black guy in Ireland, that that's when he decided to move to 5 Points with his son and start a gang war?
It is possible. It is certainly possible. All right, buddy. Well, yeah, I mean, we could go on for a while. But that's, I mean, and I don't mind it. I just wish, like, instead we're going to spend 30 seconds on this story everywhere you look and go, like, either he's racist or fuck the PC. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
We're not even talking about the story anymore.
The 9/11 thing that they call a race was a great example.
It is a good point.
Because it shows that every single person had that. It wasn't that you wanted to, again, because it was, you didn't want to, there are people that went around and hit Muslims, which of course is wrong, but every one of us looked at them like, fuck, like, you were just mad.
Or scared or something.
Sure, frustrated,
negative,
whatever.
Yeah.
Yes, whatever,
Yeah.
all those things.
Nick in Detroit. What's up, Nick?
Good morning, boys.
Hey, Nick.
Morning, bud.
That's a kind of, I was going to call that bastard beat me to it, but I'm from Middle Eastern descent. I'm obviously American. Yeah, let me put my seatbelt on. I'm sorry, guys. I apologize for this. Okay, anyway, I'm from Middle Eastern descent, and I'm American. But when 9/11 happened, I caught a lot of hate for it. And I didn't get mad. I didn't kind of like, that child or whatever, anything like that. I understood almost, because I'm American at heart, and I understood what happened was a tragedy, and people needed an outlet to take their anger out on. And they were just looking for somebody to blame. So I kind of, me and Travis kind of have the same enemy, so that's why I kind of vibe with him on the show. But seriously, I understood where people were coming from, and I didn't get mad at them. I didn't think that they were racist. I just knew that they were mad, and they were looking for somebody to point the finger at,
Yeah.
So that's kind of like where I ended up.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, thank you, Nick. Let's go to Eric.
Yeah, I was about to. Eric in Chicago. What's up, dude?
Hey, what's up, guys? What's
Hi,
up, guys? Hey, it's just, I don't know. It sounds like just imagine if he had did something. It sounds like Emmett Till type shit all over again. Like, do black people always have to be the scapegoat for when somebody feels insecure about something happening? Like, it just,
well, hold on.
I don't know. Nothing happened, but it just seems like
Eric, it's not a scapegoat. The woman was raped, and first of all, it's a different country than Emmett Till. It's not like the same system. It's not the same system.
It's the same kind of mentality, though. It just felt like it was way worse because it was a black guy, black bastard. Like, I don't know. And I see what you're saying, Jim. Like, I'm not totally just admitting everything that you're saying. It's just that, I don't know, it just seems like a lot of undertones of racial shit.
Yeah, there was undertones of racial shit. He was angry. He was angry that someone black had raped. If it was the anger,
people were angry that Emmett Till looked at a white woman.
Can you hold on, Eric? Are you really making an innocent kid like Emmett Till looking at a white woman or thinking what they thought?
It wasn't Emmett Till's fault. It was the white people's fault.
That's the point I'm making. You're really looking at an innocent kid like Emmett Till who didn't do anything wrong being murdered, with a guy irrationally reacting to a rape and not doing anything in a different country?
They all irrationally reacted to a white woman being looked at.
Yeah, this is not looked at. This is a guy reacting to someone he loves being raped. It's different. It's 100% different, Eric.
You're kind of splitting hairs here, bro, because...
I'm splitting hairs.
What's different is what happened, because he didn't go out and kill a black guy. That's the only thing that happened. I mean, actually, a black guy didn't walk up to him is what didn't happen.
So wait, so it's irrational.
He said if a black guy had walked up to him, he probably would have killed him.
And started shit. He could have found, so he was just walking around being angry. He was angry and he walked around angry. That's it.
And just because a white guy walks around angry, a black guy is... I don't know.
You're reaching, Eric. It's a racial thing, and you're reaching. Just give the guy his honesty. He had a thought process. He didn't act on it. Emmett Till is a completely awful example because that has nothing to do with what happened here.
I know you don't want to look at it like that.
I'll look at it any way you want. I just don't agree with you. I understand your example. I don't agree with it.
And it's crazy because I can see where you're coming from, but I just don't see you. I don't think you're willing to see the other point of view.
Of course I am, but I don't agree with it. Like on 9/11, when everybody looked at Muslims side-eyed for a little while, we were all pissed off and untrusting and angry. We all kind of give ourselves a break on that. Like, yeah, it wasn't rational, it wasn't nice, but we get it. We were reacting to something. We didn't react as well as we could have, but we didn't do a whole lot of other shitty things that we could have done either as citizens. So that's kind of what he went through.
Jim, I don't know, man. I just don't think you get it, bro. And I'm not trying to make light of Emmett Till's situation. I'm trying to say that in a certain situation, if it had went further,
but it didn't,
something wrong could have happened to the wrong person.
But you can't take it like that. I mean, it could have. I mean, it could have. It didn't. He's not he didn't assault anybody. He's not a murderer. He was just angry. So the crime Liam Neeson has committed is being honest about a thought process he had, reacting to a tragedy when he was angry. That's the crime he's committed, because you're dishonest if you say you don't understand exactly why he thought that, because after 9/11, we all thought a certain way.
I just know that like somebody said, the odds of the person that actually did it, you can't be mad at every black person. I can't walk around mad at every white person because of shit that happened to me.
But have you ever looked at white people irrationally mad because of things that happened to you?
No.
Never.
Because they didn't. No, because the white people that I know didn't do the shit to me that, you know what I'm saying, that happened back in the days. What I'm saying is that for him to walk around mad at every black person because somebody that he loved got raped, it just doesn't. Yeah, you're angry, but I'm just tired of black people being a scapegoat for shit.
They're not a scapegoat. She was raped by a black woman, and that's the only identifiable feature he had.
I think though the difference, and not saying the 9/11 example isn't a good example.
It's perfect.
Well, it's not perfect because the difference is that he didn't rape her in the name of black people with a whole bunch of black people around him.
Doesn't
like
matter
it wasn't
the
a
motive.
black issue.
If
this was a Muslim Middle Eastern issue, they painted it that way.
But it doesn't even matter. No one's looking at how did he feel about race when he raped her? Who the fuck is thinking of that?
No, but if he had announced it, it would have been like, oh, this was a racial thing.
But if it wasn't a racial thing, he still did it. Even if they didn't attack, if the 19 hijackers didn't say that they were there for Islam, we would just have,
But
whatever. But if they didn't, we still would have been just as mad.
Well, I mean, we can't say, well, he didn't do this, he did do that. It's the way it happened.
So you're saying that that they're different because they said Islam, but because he didn't say I'm raping you because I'm black and you're white, that it's not the same connection, the irrational anger associated with it.
No, I didn't say the irrational anger associated with was different. I said the irrational anger associated with a race or a religion is different. Not
we judge people who we knew were not on those planes. We judge people who we knew were not radical. We judge people based on the fact that they were Muslim. We judge them irrationally because of what some radicals did. So it's the same thing. We judged the guy who committed an act of violence. He looked at other people based on their race and just associated them with him because he was angry. We all did the same thing post 9/11. The fact that they announced this is for Islam and he didn't announce I'm black and she's white, I don't think that's relevant at all.
All right, thank you, Eric. Let's go to Jason real quick in South Carolina. What's up, Jason?
Yeah. Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hi, Jason.
I was going to say, I think Sam, and just please let me talk for a second.
Sure.
I think Sam's trying to summarize, take everything that Liam Neeson said 30 years ago and summarize it for a journalist. I mean, I'm pretty sure the first thing he said was he a black guy? But imagine, Sam, if someone broke in your mother's house and she saw who did it, and you went home and you said, well, who was it? Who did this? Well, was it a white guy? Was it a black guy? It's not the first thing you focus on, but you're just trying to be descriptive. And I think you're taking Liam's attempt to summarize the conversation to a journalist and trying to pick it apart and make race the first thing that he talked about. And I don't think it was.
I'm taking him on his word, dude. Like that, all I can do is take him on his word. There's no reason for me to give somebody the benefit of a doubt who's telling me what happened. Like, I'm not going to... You're making excuses for him at that point.
He doesn't even need the benefit of the doubt.
I'm not saying he does, but I'm saying for me to go, oh, he probably didn't think of race first. That would be the benefit of the doubt when he's not even asking for that. He's saying, this is the question that I asked, and this is what I did. So it's like, okay, that's where we're going from.
Well,
I'm not, whether it's right or wrong.
The first thing he thought wasn't what did he look like. It was, do you know him?
Right,
so
and he said that.
It was, who is he?
Yeah, totally.
She didn't know. Okay, so basically, what's he look like?
What color is he?
Yeah, whether he asked like that. Maybe he did, or maybe he said, what's he look like? Or maybe he said, what color?
He said that he
Whatever
said,
he
what color
said,
is he? I'll go on his word.
Then he said, what color is he?
Right.
And she said he's black. And that was all. I'm sure he probably took it further, and that was all he knew about the guy. But it's
right. And Sam, but you're also taking him on his word of today that he's trying to summarize a conversation that happened years ago. I mean, if it was a recording from 30 years ago, and that was the first thing he said, sure. But he's trying to summarize dialogue from years ago to.
No, I mean, I get it.
Even if he did, and even if he did say that, I don't care. Even if he did say, what color was it? What's he look like? I don't care. It doesn't matter to me.
Right. I think that the conversation is the same regardless, right?
Yeah. He was honest about a thought process that everybody understands.
Thank you, Jason.
We've all been guilty of that shit. All of us. Irrationally looking at a group or whatever for something bad that has happened. Everyone is guilty of that with us too.
I just think it's first of all, you do take a guy on his word. If he says this is what I said,
I'm fine with him. Right. He said, what color is he? Okay, fine. That's what he said.
And I think it's interesting to break down how somebody handles irrational anger.
But the thing that we always say is, what about when you, and I thought about this too, like we always go, yeah, but what about that time that you, or what about when you, we never say, well, what about when I? Like never. We never seem to, and I mean all of us, the first thing we do is go, yeah, but how come he didn't, instead of going, wow, what about when I've done shit like that?
I've been there.
Because that way we wouldn't be attacking each other on social media and trying to one-up each other. What about when I did that? Even if I didn't walk around wanting to hit a black guy with a pipe.
Right, like you at least get the energy.
What about when I fucking prejudged people based on something that was traumatic that had nothing to do with the people I was prejudging?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I've done it. So who the fuck am I to sit here and act like I don't know why Liam Neeson would have irrational thoughts? I wish everybody would do that. We would give each other such a nice break. We would really give each other a break.
Yeah, but admitting your own flaws, that's not a thing people like to do. It's funner to point out somebody else's.
We'd be in a much more honest culture. And if people want to know, how do we stop all this shit? Social media, instead of going, yeah, what about when you? Say, what about when I? And most times you'll be able to relate. Sometimes you might not be able to, but a lot of times I think you'll be able to. And it's harder to bash people or to criticize people to be holier than thou if I'm being honest about my own shit.
Yeah. I would have this conversation for another 6 hours if you wanted. But
Jenny Hutt is here.
We do have to take a break. Yeah, Jenny Hutt is here, and we have to take a break anyway.
Yes, we do.
So,
do we have reads?
Yeah, we have reads.
Good.
We got a whole bunch of stuff to do.
Good.
This was good, though. Sit right there. We'll be right back.
Yes.
Jim Norton and Sam Roberts will be back after this.